Austin Dillon, it's redemption for him, getting his second win at Richmond, locking himself into the playoffs. They can't take it away this time. Let's talk about NASCAR at Richmond. Hey everybody, welcome to Dirty Air. I'm your host Alex Lambert, and let's talk about NASCAR at Richmond Raceway from the Richmond International Speedway, or I guess now it's called Richmond Raceway, but certainly an exciting race today in Richmond, Virginia. Austin Dillon, the fastest car again. A bit strange, Austin Dillon, the fastest car again. Wasn't expecting that going into today's race. It's interesting, 2 years in a row for Dillon. It almost reminds me of like Eric Almirola, who was good at New Hampshire for a few years. You know, he wasn't that great at other racetracks, was decent, but wasn't that consistent. But every time we went to New Hampshire, Eric Almirola was all of a sudden in contention for a race win, and we saw that year in and year out with different variety of race cars. That was certainly interesting. But a huge win today for the driver of the number 3 car, Austin Dillon. Shocks the playoff here. We'll take a look at that a little bit. But a huge win for Austin Dillon. And he did it in dominating fashion, like I mentioned, right? They had the fastest car, and they've had a fast car here a couple of years. You remember the storylines last year, wrecking Joey Logano, wrecking Denny Hamlin. That was the story of winning that race. But this year, it's completely different, right? And you remember last year, Austin Dillon was really fast as well. Had like a 3-something second lead going into the end of that race before the caution came out, right before the white flag. Obviously, of course, this year, Austin Dillon ends up getting the victory, getting the win, which is huge for him, and no caution at the end, gets the win straight up, which is a huge win for Austin Dillon, and a very awesome redemption for Dillon. And you knew he was thinking about that at the end of this race. Mentioned it in his post-race interview that he really wanted this one badly, felt like he was robbed of a playoff berth last year, and that's exciting. And once again, huge props to Austin Dillon. 6th career win. Look, I know Austin Dillon has had a little bit of heat from the fans, has not won a whole lot of races in his, 12-year career, but 6 career wins is certainly nothing to be shy about. That's a lot of wins in the NASCAR Cup Series. A lot of drivers can't get to 6 wins in the NASCAR Cup Series, so certainly that deserves a props as well, and we'll see what happens moving forward. So let's take a look at the top 10 today from Richmond. So Alex Bowman finishing second today. Certainly going to be a boost of momentum for Alex Bowman, a nice points finish, but now with the cut line moving, he's not safe. We'll definitely take a look at that moving forward. But a nice day for Alex Bowman. Showed a lot of speed all weekend long, finished second on strategy. Nice day for the driver of the 48 Chevrolet. Ryan Blaney finishing in the 3rd position in the 12 car. Looked like Ryan Blaney had a shot to at least try to go for the win, try to beat Austin Dillon in some sense, some way or another, but wasn't quite able to get it done today at Richmond. Unfortunate for Ryan Blaney. Another one of those shoulda, coulda, wouldas for Blaney. There's been a lot of those this year. We'll have to continue to watch him going into the playoffs in just a week and a half. So Joey Logano in the 22 car finishing 4th. Joey Logano actually had a really solid day today. Actually started in the back, had issues yesterday practicing qualifying, ran a qualifying lap, but very slow, started last today. But for him to be able to come up through the field, Joey Logano has a strong short track package. You go back to Martinsville, a few other racetracks. It's definitely exciting to see what the driver of the 22 can do at short tracks. Well, he doesn't have quite the speed at other variety of racetracks right now, like winning speed. He definitely has a solid race car at all the short tracks right now. Joey Logano, I want to watch him moving forward. Austin Cindric, nice 5th place finish for Austin Cindric. Another one of those Penske drivers. He'll take it. Nice 5th place finish. I'm sure Austin Cindric is excited about that, and he can take that momentum and move it forward. Once again, he's in the playoffs as well, but trying to get some better results moving into those playoffs. It's been a bit of a rough season for Austin Cindric, right, for Penske standards. Right? I know he has the win at Talladega, but the Penske standard, he hasn't quite met that yet, as he's still certainly a young driver, still improving. Kyle Larson, nice 6th place finish. If Daniel Suarez actually started up front, ran second for majority of the day, was able to get a nice top 10 finish. I'm sure Daniel Suarez in the 99 team will take that in his last season with Trackhouse. Josh Berry, nice 8th place finish. Haven't seen a whole lot out of Josh Berry since that win in Las Vegas. It's been kind of a rough year, actually, for the driver of the 21 Wood Brothers team. You know, we saw that boost of momentum in Las Vegas where he was able to get a race win, lock himself into the playoffs, and it's been a downhill battle since then. We'll continue to see what he can do moving forward in the NASCAR play, but a nice solid day today using strategy was very important. Brad Keselowski, we were looking at one of those guys that were able to try to win a race today, finishes in the top 10. Nice run for Brad Keselowski. Denny Hamlin, unfortunate for him. I feel like that's one of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of this race. Denny Hamlin with the issues at the beginning of the race, the issues on pit road, then ultimately getting involved in a hitting the wall, potentially bending a toe link. Very unfortunate there for Denny Hamlin. And we'll have to see what he can do moving forward, right? Unfortunately for him, looking for his 5th win today. Just wasn't able to get it done, sort of circumstantial, made some mistakes that you just can't do at Richmond. And that was, I think, a key for this race all day long. A lot of mistakes made throughout the entire field. We'll have to see what continues to happen moving forward with that. But certainly not a bad race today in Richmond. And I think if we go to every racetrack now, strategy is just such a key component. And we saw it today, tire strategy. We've seen it with fuel strategy in Iowa, fuel strategy at Pocono, and other racetracks. In Indianapolis, right? Strategy is the name of the game right now. And it was the name of the game today. But fortunately, Austin Dillon was able to get a solid win tonight. And that's really it. And I'll throw it to myself, talk about the points.
Back here in the Dirty Air Studios following the Richmond race tonight. Certainly a few more things to talk about. The big crash that we saw at the midway point of the race certainly had an impact. It took out guys like, well, it didn't take them out, but gave guys damage like Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, a little bit of damage from that. Chase Elliott with a massive on-head hit on the outside retaining wall. That was a scary moment for sure, but luckily Chase Elliott was able to get out of the race car. He was okay. That was a big moment. That was a big crash in the midpoint of the race today. Looking back at the final results also, SVG able to finish 12th. All the Trackhouse Chevrolets having a fairly solid day. Mentioned earlier at the track, Daniel Suarez finishing the top 10 as well. So certainly SVG finishing 12th on an oval. Short track is good. And he started to do something interesting tonight when we were sitting in the grandstands looking. You could see SVG sort of like wall riding around Richmond. Like, I mean, not on the wall, but certainly like running a high lane around Richmond. I think he was running a higher lane than anybody else at the entire facility. So certainly interesting to see SVG do that tonight. Try something different than everybody else, and it worked out for him. I think a top 20 is good for SVG on the road course. Certainly 12th place is a solid finish for him on an oval. Let's take a look at the point standings, right? We've had some time to sort of look at the point standings, dissect everything. First off, let's take a quick look at those regular season points, which are important. Once again, you look on the far left, that's how many extra points you get going into each round of the playoffs to start if you finish in that position on top of your wins and your playoff stage win playoff points, right? So William Byron is now guaranteed with it being over 61 points. He's locked himself in as the regular season title. So William Byron will receive the 15 bonus points each round of the playoffs. That would be a big advantage. We see it every year come down to 1 or 2 points at times. And William Byron's going to get those extra 15. Chase Elliott right now sitting in the slot to get the 10. And once again, while, yes, William Byron has won the regular season title, will be interesting to keep an eye on this next week in Daytona, just for the fact that it just does change, right? I think the teams, the drivers, the crew chiefs especially, will be keeping an eye on this as we move to Daytona next week. Certainly going to be interesting. Let's take a look at the playoff grid, who gets in, who doesn't get in. And here we are, one race to go. I'll do my best to break down exactly what you need to know for Daytona next week, right? So we're going to go to Daytona, under the lights, Saturday night. You have your 14 different winners now. Austin Dillon completely shocks the playoff grid. Austin Dillon goes from 28th to, I think he moved up to 26th tonight, but to 14th on the playoff grid. The last winner on the playoff grid, Austin Dillon, now locked into the NASCAR playoffs. They cannot take it away from him this time, I don't think. He's already passed post-race inspection. But Tyler Reddick is now 21 points above Alex Bowman. Now, here's the deal. Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman are both in right now on points. The only thing that would knock either of those two out is a new winner. So you see Buescher, Priest, Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs, they're all missing a win, right? They would have to win to advance. There's like a list of 16 more drivers that could win, mathematically could make the playoffs with a win at Daytona next week. There's a long list of drivers that can win their way into the playoffs, and that would knock out either Tyler Reddick or Alex Bowman, whoever's the lowest in the points. I've been saying all year, right? Tyler Reddick's safe. I've been saying that for 2-3 months. Tyler Reddick's safe. He's good. He's in the playoffs. So once again, kind of reminds me of what happened to Martin Truex a couple of seasons ago. Look at it now. Well, only 29 points in if there is a new winner. Now, once again, that's why they're both in green. So if there's no new winner, Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman make it into the playoffs on points. They're good on points. They can make it in if there's no new winner, no problem. They will not miss it on points if there's no new winner. But they're 29 points apart, those two, and it could come down. If there's a new winner, Tyler Reddick could miss it if he loses 29 points. And once again, 29 points is a fairly solid gap, but I'm sure Alex Bowman team's thinking about it. Alex Bowman teams has even said this week it was not a must-win for them. Tonight, the crew chief said it was not a must-win, so it'll be interesting to see how these teams approach it next week. We already know 17th on back how they're going to approach it. It's either win or your season, as far as playoffs, is over. Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, they're going to try to have to manipulate points a little bit, stages and all that. We'll have to watch that next week at night at Daytona under the lights Saturday night. So that's really it all there is to discuss following a solid Richmond race. Do want to mention, shout out to Richmond. I didn't really say it in the video portion at the racetrack, but man, the fans really showed up, and that was a racetrack. That was the first racetrack I ever went to in 2014, and I know that Richmond's taken a lot of seats out. I know the attendance was like a little under 50,000 is what a sold-out crowd would be today versus like 100 and something thousand in 2008, the last time it sold out officially. But man, the fans brought the atmosphere, the energy there. It was exciting to see the grandstands that are left, which is still a lot, like almost 50,000, right? Fill up completely. The fans were real. The traffic was rough at times. It was rough getting out of there at times. But man, the fan experience was good. The race was a solid race. I thought it was a better Richmond race than we've seen. Richmond's not the most, I know they call it the excitement track, it's nickname, but it hasn't been that exciting in 20 years almost. But today was a solid race. It was fun to watch, a lot of things to follow with the strategy. So that's really it. Once again, that's it. All there is to discuss. I'll send it back to myself at the racetrack for the outro.
And that's it here from Richmond Raceway. Appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe if you like the video. And of course, let's get rowdy.